So we don't like stop. Public meeting. So the finance. Hello. Yeah. Just sit. You can just like anything else you want. No, I don't do not. Bye bye. Yes. Bye. What? I'm just curious. All vice chair of Yeah, fine. I also want to consider vice chair, one chair, and that's second. Yeah. It used to be considered heavily big, but I feel like, oh, like, should be big, but then I'll be right here, and then fall down, go, but it's pretty, just pretty. Hey, we got almost everyone, so I think we'll start. I call this meeting to order at 4:02 p.m. Roll call. Here.
Nicholas.
Here.
Aaron. Kate. Here. Lydia. Here. Benjamin. Benjamin.
I know. We're good? Wait, who is it? Okay, hi guys, welcome back. Let's try to keep this meeting short again, because I know that Wednesday we have budget deliberations and it's gonna be the longer one. Starting this week. So we have 2 items only, so we're just gonna talk a little bit about the budget deliberation process and anything we want to kind of discuss about that. Well, that's more of a, oh, actually. Okay. Well, before we get to that, actually, I kind of want to switch to the second business item first, because I think that's just easier, faster. So the finance canvas video update. So I know we've been kind of working on this, but it kind of got halted because last quarter was kind of crazy. So yeah, well, I just want to like get like some updates to see kind of where it's at right now, and then I just want to ask kind of predicted time to finish, maybe perhaps. So any one of you guys can start.
Yeah, at this point, it's pretty much just the editing, so that's my part.
Okay.
It's gonna take a bit. Maybe a couple of weeks.
Okay.
But then it should be wrapped up. I'm gonna send like drafts and stuff to people.
Okay, that sounds good. I heard from Ben, there was a part that you guys wanted to film with me.
Yeah, you have to film the intro, but we can do that at like a later time.
Okay, yeah, just send me the details and we can work out a time. I should be more free Discorded. Okay, so just in the editing stages, nice. Alright, so let's go to business item one. Okay, I said it as a action, but I think.
Yeah, there's no action.
Yeah, there's no action. I think it's just information discussion. So budget deliberation process. So I kind of want to hear from you guys how the budget deliberation process kind of, now that we kind of went through it, at least at the committee level, and then now we're just gonna handle it in Senate. I want to know, at least at the committee level, what has the budget deliberation process been like for you guys? Are there anything that you guys want to change? I know that there's some talking points about, oh, maybe we could change this, maybe we could change that, but were there, like, I want to hear from you guys, like, what were the parts that kind of went smooth? What were the parts that were kind of like a bit rocky? And then we can kind of just like list that out and just kind of see what we can improve for next year. So I'm gonna start out at random. Kate.
I'm not sure what we can do, like, I feel like this year.
Okay, just like think about what went well, what didn't go so well first. No helping. I'll get to you in a second.
I like that there were like a lot of questions, and I think that the interns were a bit more involved this time than last year, from what I remember.
Okay. I mean, you were an intern, but okay, but what about like the process? Because we didn't change too much.
Application.
Yeah, like the
the,
application and stuff like that.
The forms, the spreadsheets, the amount, how amounts are divided, all that.
Okay, so the spreadsheets, are the spreadsheet that we had to rank, it's kind of iffy because we didn't have any person time to actually do it like on paper, so we could just stack them together and we could check through it. And we had to do it online, and it was like very last second. I had to tell people to please put your rankings and the points that they have, and I could pull it off. So we could rank them. It was like very last second.
Well, that was supposed to have been done during winter break so that we could get it taken care of at the beginning of the quarter. Before we met.
This is something that Hyunju brought up, but it's difficult for programs to understand, like, we're asking programs to list almost a year in advance, sort of what they need or want, and things are subject to change. So honestly, for next year, if we could somehow streamline the requesting process for programs, I don't know how, but
What do you mean by streamline?
like make it significantly easier. We had, like, for some programs, like 30-minute discussions about like one specific item. And it feels like if that seemed like more of the program's responsibility of like how much they should have per item than ours. So almost just, I don't know, changing the request form to sort of just make things easier.
Okay. I think, yeah, now that you mention it, I forgot, I don't know if it was Kunju or someone who mentioned changing the form to be more user friendly as well, and maybe possibly incorporating like a Google Forms. Oh yeah,
Microsoft form.
oh yeah, Microsoft Forms, yeah, Kunju?
Hi, folks. Sorry I was late, but I'm so glad that this is on the agenda because it is something that I think that we need to really kind of evaluate and make some major shifts for the future. Because I don't think that the current process is very efficient, and we really shouldn't be spending, 2 weekends, all day, Fridays and Saturdays, to do this budget allocation. So what I would like to propose is that we don't deliberate. And what I mean by that is, it doesn't mean that we're not transparent, but our operational stuff should not be up for deliberation. Those items, those accounts, so that would include like the salaries of all of the DSAG employees, including our accountants, Malia, part of Dennis's salary also comes from the budget. We have strong, I would say, evidence now that Maritza's position will be funded by the college moving forward. So that's great news. That's an extra almost 100 grand that we can now reallocate somewhere else in our budget. So I think our operational budget should be handled differently. I don't have any, clear suggestions of how we do that, but that shouldn't be part of our formal budget deliberation. That right there in itself will remove like a whole day's worth of budget deliberation, because if you remember, it took us like a day and a half to just go through our operational expenses. I think we just come up with a different process for that. And then all we're really deliberating is the external requests. So those are, the ones that we all looked at from all the various different departments and services that need money, or extra money from us. So that's one thing. And then it's that you did talk about the form. If you all look at the form, it is really daunting. And it's not user-friendly at all. It's got way too much, I think, information in there, more than we even need to consider. So I think what we need to do, and perhaps in the future, maybe it's a subcommittee, because I don't think it can be just done here at this committee meeting. I think we need to sit down, go through every item and figure out whether or not it's something that we need to ask of. And then instead of having it presented in a Word document, I do think we need to make it into a user-friendly form. So then maybe it's a Microsoft, like a Google survey of some sort, where we have drop-down menus, so that it's more easier for the person who's filling it out to submit it. Because and then the third piece is, I think we need to do better outreach and better education on the usage of our funds, and make sure that all programs and academic departments know that this money is available to them. So I'll just stop right there. Are there any
Okay.
questions?
Does anyone want to add on to that, or?
Maybe we could take it piece by piece, because I did bring up 3 separate items. So as far as the deliberation itself, I think moving forward, we should handle the operational side of DSAG's budget differently from the external requests that we get. And it's really just the external requests that we deliberate on, where we have a full-on kind of questioning of, looking at the application, that kind of stuff.
Right, just to kind of gauge the room, how many of you guys agree with that idea? Because I know we've been talking about this for a bit, like I think since from last year. Good. For the few. But Ben, you're kind of in the middle. Do you have any thoughts?
But I think for the operation costs, I feel like part of the reason why Maritza is getting funding now was because like we discussed about it like last budget deliberations. I think that deliberating about it is still important for the budget project.
Yeah, I mean, whether or not we deliberated on it, it would have had a tangible effect anyways. So like we would have known about it. It's not like we're gonna completely ignore it. I feel like there is probably still a way that we have to like obviously, if let's say, for example, there's like a proposed amount for the operational cost, but then we, Senate doesn't agree with that, then maybe there should be a process as well. And that's, I guess, something that I want everyone to start thinking about is how do we, like, how should we make the new process? Because I also don't think it would be like an automatic, like, oh, here's the operation and then boom, that's it. There'd probably just be like a little bit more, like a check-in system, just to make sure that it's in order. But that's something that I think we should think about as well. Yeah. So, yeah, but as far as the general idea of just like getting rid of including the operational cost in the normal budget deliberation process. Is anyone not in favor of that? Or is anyone think that's a bad idea? That'll lead to a bad time.
And I'll just add, I mean, you all can create the process as you see fit. So if there's like a new operational account, for example, then that could be part of the deliberation process. But as it is, I think every year a lot of the operational stuff hasn't changed very much, other than like with salary, we have to match whatever, the district tells us we have to pay, right? Based on reclass or salary increases, those kinds of things. But for the most part, it stays pretty stagnant. So I think that you can add some conditions that if there's, a certain amount of money that we need to add more to the budget and in our operational funds, then maybe those are things that can go to the full Senate, for their review and approval. But I just feel like that is a lot of time wasted, because these are things that we have to have. If we don't have Lisa and Jennifer, you all don't have accountants. So why are they on the chopping block is my, kind of, reason for kind of shifting the way that we do budget deliberations.
Right, yeah, and I totally agree with you, Jude. So I think that's something I want everyone to kind of start thinking about. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. I think I'll try to I think, yeah, me and Nico, we can probably think of like something and then maybe at least have something to present, right? And see what you guys think. But I also want to hear from you guys as well, if you guys have any good ideas about how a new way to do it might be. Just we're open to feedback. So yes.
It's a whole new different topic.
Okay.
Is there a way, timing wise, we can do the interviews not on finals week?
Timing wise.
Well, yeah, we can try and get everything together sooner. I mean, that was just kind of. I mean, if we get started on it earlier in the fall, yes.
Wait, Dennis, when is the earliest we know, we have all the requests in?
Beginning of November.
Beginning of November.
And then, the process them, get them posted online. It just took a little longer this year. But, yeah, normally we can get it earlier than that. But even if we don't have all the requests yet, I mean, if you're talking about at least the people who have current budgets, current accounts, you can get started on at least after the or close to the application deadline. And then, you get through all of those, and then any new account requests that come in that we haven't already interviewed, then you can just add those in, get them done. You can always get started on the accounts that already exist and just reach out to them. And so on. But if I remember right, the deadline for the application is the first Monday of November, I think. Let me double check that, but yeah, it's the beginning of November.
Right, yeah. How many of you guys had to delay interviews until after break? I know I had to do it. So so like 3 of us. Yeah, we did start a bit later than we did last year. I guess that's one way to do it, is we could just do it earlier. I guess like even if Well, if you don't have the request, it's kind of hard, but I guess we can start reviewing the previous budget beforehand. What's
Yeah, and-
difficult is that we kind of need the requests forms to be able to like schedule the interviews as well. So that's why it's kind of like it's kind of difficult. But I don't know. They don't
Yeah, I
have any.
I'll say, when I talk to, budget requesters, that November 1st date is so early. If you think about, because we're on a quarter system, we don't even start until the end of September. So that really only gives them a few weeks into the very first, quarter to prepare and kind of think of like, what do we need next year? Most of them are just trying to figure out what do they need right at the moment. And so a lot of our requests are requests that they're just, they're ones that are repeated. So we get kind of the same requests every year. That's why I was also suggesting we need to do some better outreach so that folks know, you can request money for this kind of stuff. I think the other thing I forgot to mention is I would like for us to be more, I guess, what's the word I'm looking, more clear, and also I think we need to put up a tougher stance on what things we will no longer fund in the future. So it could be things like, we're not going to fund any more professional staff with the exception of our operations, right? So that people know you can't request money for professional salaries, or maybe we only a certain percentage of their requests can be for student salaries, can't be all 100%. Maybe we have like a defined amount, or we just do away and just say, we do not fund any salaries, so I think we have to make some hard decisions about what is allowable versus and I think we've been doing a really, really good job in the last, 3 years of kind of laying down kind of our criteria, and more people know, like they know they can't ask for certain things because just right off the bat, we're not going to pay for them. But I think that we need to have better conversations about that as well. So the other thing is we can, if we decide to have a different process for the operational funds, we could consider having a later date for the external proposals, right? Because then we're not having to prepare as many, because almost half of our budget is our operations. So that could be another plus, is that if we do away with the operational, budget deliberation, then we can think about extending the deadline to maybe like a December 1st date or something like that, just to give people an opportunity to get into their quarter. Otherwise, I think if we're going to stick with the November 1st, we need to do a lot more outreach over the summer and even in the spring to give people kind of heads up. Because that November 1st deadline just comes around really quick, unless we also simplify the form and make it much easier for people to fill out the requests.
Actually, yeah, I do agree with that, Manju. I just want to ask Dennis. So Dennis, after the budget, after it gets approved in Senate, because I know like you need to make I think is it the booklet, correct? Or
Well, the board presentation.
yeah, so the only thing I have to do is the board presentation. The board presentation is was it April or May?
First, it's the May board meeting.
The May board meeting.
Which is
but
usually the first
deadline
week
for
of
that
May.
is like, but we have to get everything to the district office. Like, let me look at this deadline, for example. It's like a week before or so, something like that, to make sure it gets on the agenda, all the information is sent. Let's see, when is the deadline this year? So I know that May board meeting this year is May 6th, I think. Yes, May 6th. And then the deadline to make sure everything gets on the agenda. Looks like. Well, the deadline to get it to the district but we have to send it to the president's office first, is, no, wait, that's May 3rd, that's not right. Hold on, let me go back, I think that's. Okay, yeah, so it's, April 25th this year, so that's about, one. Yeah, over a week before. So about a week and a half before.
Okay. So April, what was it, 25th?
25th to the district, but we have to have everything ready and then send it to the college president's office, who then sends it to the district.
Oh, wait, when do we have to have it ready to the president?
I mean, that week, so. I mean,
Oh, I see,
like, you know,
right,
24th,
okay.
23rd.
Yeah, because budget deliberations usually ends like late February, if I'm not mistaken. At
Yeah.
the Senate, like it gets approved in Senate.
Mhm.
Right. So. Yeah, and from what I remember, we didn't really need like a whole month to prepare for a presentation. So actually, if we feel like we were really rushing it a lot for the interviews, then that might be a good idea. Yes, Lisa?
I just want everyone to understand that there's a lot of work that I have to do, and then Dennis, before the budget book is ready to go up, the file ready to go up for submission to the Board of Trustees. There's a lot of work behind that. Anyway, I just wanted to say that it literally takes days and days to put together all the spreadsheets and all those formats and things that Dennis needs to do after he gets all the numbers from me.
Right, yeah, yeah, I actually, yeah, that's a very good point, Lisa. So I kind of wanted to ask, because I know Lisa and Dennis, you guys probably handle most of these behind the scenes. Do you guys find like the preparation time enough from like the moment it gets approved at Senate until we need to submit everything to the president? Like, is that enough time to like handle all of like the
Yeah, right now, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I really appreciate the work. Yeah, so I think if it may be possible, because I do understand as well for the senators this year in particular, it felt very like, well, we were really scrambling to finish those interviews. Like I had to, like I was like to the point where like I had to interview like days before deliberations, just kind of like it's a little scum. But yeah, so if it is possible to move the budget of the budget deadline, I think that could be an idea. Does anyone else want to talk about that? Nico?
Yeah.
That,
I brought it down.
I'm just sharing, I'm just saying, yeah, I think it's a good idea, I don't know, what do you think? Okay, but okay, how did you find your interview? Did you feel like it was rushed? Did you feel like it was okay?
Yeah, so like most of my interviews happen during like the week before finals. But even then, some of them were like, oh, I can't do this week because I'm too busy. So can you do next week, which was finals? And when finals came, everyone kind of forgot. Because like stress and everything. So after finals, we were like, wait, what happened to this program? And we texted them over winter break and no answer. So yeah, we did it like a few weeks before budget deliberation.
Do you think it'd be possible to do it like a week before? Like, or not a week, like, yeah, like even earlier?
Then what? Then the second.
Then
week
like,
of-
yeah, like, did we set the interviews too late or?
No, it was like everyone.
Yeah, Dennis?
Yeah, I looked it up in their finance book. So currently the budget application deadline is 4 p.m. Monday, the 7th week of fall quarter. So
And are interviews supposed to be done before then, or they just have to be done before the end of fall quarter? Because they seem
Well,
to.
what I
have
was
been-
suggesting is for all the accounts that they already, fund, I mean, they can start, at least wait until the second week of the quarter, maybe third week, but they can start interviewing even before the deadline if they really want to. Just asking the general questions that they ask. And then after the deadline, we just see if there have been any new applications submitted, new accounts. And then they can just take care of those as well after the deadline. But I don't know if they necessarily need to wait till all the applications are submitted and such to start interviewing at least the current budgeters.
What I would like to see is maybe a more coordinated efforts with those interviews, and that means, it's that maybe you can put this in your notes for your predecessor, or your successor next year. Maybe an email that does go out from the chair of finance at the beginning of the quarter, letting them know of, if we do end up having kind of a new process, it would be kind of a welcome message, letting them know that, hey, in the next 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to hear from one of our finance committee members to schedule an interview, right? So that people know kind of in advance, they can start to make plans for it. And then just maybe a better coordinated effort between the committee members on kind of a timeline of when, these interviews are supposed to happen, because my sense is that there was some that were kind of lost in the shuffle. So maybe if you can make this note for the new chairperson coming in next year, maybe they sent out a welcome email to all of the requesters in the past. Just giving them heads up that, either if we do have a different process, and then just let them know, hey, in the next few weeks, you're going to get an email from a committee member to schedule an interview. So please, look out for that email and respond, accordingly, or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea. So I think there are two kind of like big ideas here, right? In terms of, okay, so we've acknowledged that there's kind of the timing of conducting the interviews is a little bit awkward, I guess, to say the least. It's like around mid to late November, or usually around like your second midterms, for those who are second years, your college applications, things like that. It's kind of weird. So we do have, so technically, maybe we could move the deadlines forward, but we would have to move it like way forward, right? Because if we move it a little bit forward, then we're just starting it during finals week. Or I think what Dennis suggested as well is we started earlier, but we just don't have access to the latest, like to all like the newest budget requests, right? So we would have the budget, let's say for example, for next year, you would have the budget request from this year. And then all you would have to do is just after the interviews, cross-check if there's any like big changes, right? So does anyone have, which idea do you guys prefer? Do you guys have a new idea? Or are there any thoughts? Is that?
I feel like the second option is okay because the interviews, the questions that we asked during the interviews to fill up the rubrics is pretty qualitative in nature, which anything they say is would be pretty similar to the previous year's budget request, which probably wouldn't change that much in the new budget request. And if we are looking for the numbers, then yeah, we can wait for the new budget request. But for the purpose of just filling up the rubrics, which is pretty qualitative questions, I think it's okay to just refer to the previous year's ones and together in the review.
Anyone else? Any opposing views or different views, not opposing? No? I actually really like that idea too. I feel like finance kind of like starts out a little bit too chill almost, and it just ramps up like insanely as the forms come in. So I think that is something that we can consider doing. Then next, I guess the next thing to talk about for the budget deliberations was the marketing. So I think Hyunju made a really good point about maybe like the chair would like send out a message for saying like, hey, there's this thing, right? make sure to send it in, or like you're gonna get like interviewed. I think that's a good way to kind of do it, but is there any other ways you guys think outreach can be improved?
Perhaps you could organize a meeting with all the programs there and make it mandatory for them to send one representative, and then you can just communicate with them, whatever the changes.
Hmm,
Would it be possible to?
That would be-
organize something at that level?
that could be a little bit more difficult, just like even just scheduling interviews, because a lot of these program coordinators are like faculty, staff, or like, so it's like, or I mean, even if they do have a student intern, like students are also busy, so I'm not sure if there would be like a nice time to get like everyone to ensure that everyone's able to get out on it, because it wouldn't be very like equitable if, some programs can make it, some programs can't, then it's like, especially if it's mandatory. In terms of marketing, that,
I feel like this idea could be possible if we make it in such a way where it's like the elections info sessions, like there's a few. But I do foresee that it's gonna take quite a bit of time to carry it out.
right, yeah, especially since the deadline is like, let's say the deadline's on the 7th. Then that means you would have to organize the info sessions like first day of fall, like people are just coming in, like boom. You have the info sessions. So that would be quite challenging as well. Yeah, I guess that's something that we can kind of just think about. I don't want, like, I'm just like setting the conversation, and then if later in the future. Luca?
I'm just trying to understand, why couldn't we just, make a big list of the sort of changes and email that list out to the different program coordinators and people involved?
Oh, because it's not necessarily just changes, but it's also just like. Just to get the word out kind of in general about like, hey, like we do have budget requests, right? Just increase that, making sure people kind of like know early on. Cause like, what if it's something that like they kind of know about, but then it's like, oh, maybe they forgot and they're kind of just rushing and scrambling to kind of like turn in the application.
Right.
Another thing is also just like, and it's kind of what you said, changes. So it's like setting the tone, like what Hanju mentioned, is like setting the tone very clearly, things that we do fund, don't fund, right? Getting that across. But I think in general, it's just, well, that's one thing, but I think marketing in general, just making sure people know, like, hey, this is a thing. It's a big thing, here's the deadline, make sure to apply if you're interested, right? Because there could be programs out there, like, we don't know, but there could be programs out there that are interested, they just don't know. Or they kind of figured it out too late or something.
It's just, yeah, the target audience is not like the entire student body, it's really just the
Yeah,
coordinator.
the programs,
So then how do you really sort of reach those people specifically?
Well, for now, the only thing we've been doing really is just emailing, if I'm not mistaken, like we sent out a big email,
Right,
that's our marketing,
and that's not really.
that's our marketing. I don't know if we, Dennis, did we send out like, did we make like a marketing post with like the
Yeah,
things? With the applications, like saying, hey, budget applications are out, I think.
yeah,
might
I
have
sent
been.
out an email 2 or 3 times.
Right,
We sent it out on the first.
with a poster and everything, or,
Well, the first one did not have a flyer, but the second one did.
oh, I see, okay.
But I sent it to all the current budgeters, administrators, and then also, we try to make sure, I mean, try to keep the list up to date, but all, other, so basically everyone who currently has an account, the budgeters and administrators. And then I try to make sure the list also includes all other administrators, program managers and so on, all the different admin assistants and executive assistants. So, yeah, I send that out at the beginning of the quarter, and then I send out 1 or 2 reminders before the deadline.
I see.
And I copy you on it,
Yeah.
and I think the whole Senate, if I remember.
All right, so I guess marketing is something that we can also think of, but at the very least, in terms of the scheduling for interviews, make it earlier, right? I think everyone agreed on that, so that's something that we can, like, start to formalize. And then also the conversation about the changing the, what do you call that? The internal, the operational, the DASG operationals, right? Changing the process on that, making it making it more. Yeah, like, so we don't have to deliberate it in the budget deliberations process or however, but basically, we're just gonna talk about kind of how to change that. So that's gonna be a topic of discussion, moving forward, hopefully something that we can approve, in the next month, maybe. So we'll see. Okay, but I think time's just about up for like the combined business items. I yacked a little bit too much, okay. Okay. go
Sorry,
ahead.
is that just to be clear? So, are we gonna work on this again in the finance committee, or will there be a subcommittee to kind of dive into it a little bit deeper? My worry is that, we've tried to bring this up in the past and it just keeps getting kind of passed down to the next year. So this year, I really would like, for us to make these changes. So, I mean, for example, just updating the form, someone has to take a look at it and start working on what changes we want to make, what format we want to present it in. So, I mean, if it's going to happen at these meetings, let's make sure that we make time, 15, 20 minutes every Monday to ensure that, it gets done.
Is true. So I did mention that in terms of the operation, the changing for the operational costs, me and Nico would probably talk about it, maybe like with our interns, but I think because there's so many things that we talked about today, I think it's actually worth just delegating it to all of you guys. So, okay, so who wants to take on or just like come up with like ideas, like discuss with, okay, I'm talking about senators right now, but which senator wants to talk with their interns about the marketing? And then which one wants to talk marketing of and outreach in general, or the budget request forms? And then which one of you guys wants to work on improving the request forms? Just like talking with your interns about ideas and stuff like that, presenting it later, maybe next week in finance, and then we can talk about, if it's something that we could approve or not. So who wants to do which? So there's outreach, there's the other one, outreach and the forum. Yeah, the not aesthetic, how user-friendly the forum is. So we have Kate. Oh, Ben already has the video project, so it's between you two.
Yeah, I can do the.
No, Ben's already got the video project, so it's between Kate and you, Aaron. So which one wants to do which?
I will do the forum. Not the marketing aspect of it.
Okay.
Not the marketing aspect, it's okay.
So are you okay with the outreach thing? Okay, so talk to your interns, come up with something. And I'll put it on the agenda for next week. You.
What about my intern?
Huh?
What about my intern?
Oh yeah, you and me, and then our interns, because our thing's kind of like a lot bigger. So we'll just make like a joint team or something. So yeah, actually that was a very good idea, thank you.
So what
yeah,
I'll also suggest is not just the aesthetics of the form, like in what kind of platform we want to present it in. So whoever's going to be working on that, especially if you're new to some of those questions kind of have a history and a logic behind why those questions are there. So please make any kind of recommendations, but the final recommendations will have to come to the finance committee, I assume. And then Dennis and I will need to have some input because there are some certain questions that have to be included, and others we can deliberate whether or not we need them in the future. So so don't get hung up on like whether or not we need to erase or delete this question. Just really kind of think through it from like a first time user, like, oh my God, if I was the budget requester, what does this mean? Or what does that mean? Because I will tell you, even the budgeters they're asking us like, what is this question? I don't even know. So if that comes up for you, make a note of it. Like, what is this? Why are we asking about this account? Or why do we need to know this about their budget? Okay. So those are the kinds of things that, we would like kind of you to kind of look at and give us some, critical feedback. Okay. And I'm so sorry, I'm going to have to hop on to a different meeting, but thank you, Itzet, for putting this on the business item. And then if you haven't already, please let us know how many finance interns will be there this Wednesday if you haven't already told Malia. So we can make sure that you all get fed on Wednesday. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Okay, so before we move on to public comments first, I guess this is on the agenda, so I'm just gonna go briefly through it. So basically, we've already proposed the final draft for the budget, Fund 41 and 46 on Senate last week. So now we're gonna, this Wednesday is going to be the first, we're gonna have it as an action item. So now we're actually gonna vote to approve it. So it's gonna need 2 approvals without any changes in Senate. So that's like two different meetings of it getting approved without any changes in between. And then after that, it gets approved in Senate. So yeah, so the first one of those votes is going to be this Wednesday. So if any of you guys, no wait, it's not optional for senators, by the way, it is mandatory. But for any of you guys who are interns that want to join, please react to my message on Discord. So I know, like I sent out a little thing like, hey guys, like, just react to this message. So I kind of just have a head count for interns to make sure that you guys at least get fed. Because these meetings go really long. Like I've had these meetings go up to like 9 p.m. So they're really long, from like 4 to 9. I've seen it, so I don't know. Yeah.
Is it possible to attend, as a winter, if you attend out in Parkway?
Yeah, you can. But if you're gonna attend like half of it, let's say, that's already pretty long, like just, just tell me that you're coming, basically. So yeah, if you haven't done it, please do it. I need the head count by like now. Just because we need to get the dinner sorted. So
Is it strictly hands and then that are getting fed? Like
I-
outside of senators?
I would think so, because I didn't go around to like the marketing committee to market this. So I was think.
So if that's the case, might as well ask them to put down their names, because right now I'm looking at the Discord. We have the vote member coming in. And a couple of no names, it's a username that I don't know.
But that's a very good question. Wait, Dennis, so is it only strictly finance interns? What? For like, it, for the people that, because we need to get a head count for the people that get like fed. But then, or like we buy food dinner for, but then is that strictly only for finance interns? Or like, what if like a LeBeau's member say, hey, I'm coming, do we also provide food for them?
I mean, we can provide food for everyone, so it's basically for the DASG senators and if any finance interns show up.
What if it's like what if a marketing intern decides, hey, I wanna,
We have no way of knowing, we have to have a count. So first priority is everyone that's currently on the Senate and any finance intern.
okay, all right,
We don't know if there will be enough food for anyone.
okay,
We just can't order, any unlimited. We have to have some sort of count.
so.
I mean, if there's extra food, maybe other people can have it, but right, we don't know.
Yeah, so right now it's just strictly for finance interns, I guess, in terms of the head count. So what we'd have to do is just cross-check the names with like our interns. And then, yeah. With official interns anyways. Yeah, so that's what's coming up. Please do that ASAP. So, okay, I'm gonna move on now to public comments. Are there any public comments? Yes.
So, as you probably, if you're on Senate, you probably know that we have our student elections, in the winter quarter. And I think that we've just decided that we're gonna extend the application process by a week. So now the executive officer application deadline is due February 12, 2024. If you are interested in switching your position, you can always email Dennis Shenanigan at fhda.edu to switch.
We good? Okay, thank you guys. All right, any advisor announcements? Oh, yeah,
You don't wanna do the head count right now? Might
Like-
as well,
like,
because I feel like there's a lot of interns here today.
that's for sure. Okay, so who here are interns, finance interns? Raise your hands. Okay, If you are not coming on Wednesday, put your hand up. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6. Oh, hold on, 7. Okay, so there are 7. But what about are there any interns online that, okay, wait, Nico, can you keep count of the, wait, actually, Malia, you have the names, right? Or is it just the head count, or is it just the numbers? Oh, I see, okay. Okay, everyone who just raised their hand up, raise their hand up again. Okay, Nico, type fast. Okay, so we'll just cross-check this with the people that also like reacted on Discord as well. I'll remember, so that Jason, Sean, Zach, Dianush, and Ming. And Luca, you're not going?
I'm going.
No, not you. You.
I have class.
Okay, that's okay. Now it's nice. Okay. Okay then. So that's about 7 right now, and then we'll cross check again on the Discord just to make sure if there's anyone that didn't come today that is coming tomorrow. Okay, advisor announcements. Are there any advisor announcements? Advisor announcements? No?
No.
Okay, any prospective interns? Yeah, there's a few good. Okay, yeah, actually, Lydia brought up a really good point last week. So the process for to becoming an intern in the finance committee is basically you come up here and after your second meeting, you can just declare to have an interview. So once you come up here and you're like, hey, my name is XYZ, this is my second meeting. After that, even during that meeting, you can be like, hey, I've done oh no. So after that, that's your second meeting, then you have to do the committee project, which is basically just ask Nico to get invited to the finance canvas page. And then you do the finance quiz. So it's like it's a quiz on Canvas. It's like a class, it's like a midterm note. So I don't like midterm. Okay, so yeah, you do that, and then after that, if you get a certain score and you've already done your 2 committee meetings, then you can ask for an interview. So let's say, for example, right now, you guys go to Nico and then you get the quiz and you finish the quiz really fast. Like right now, you could have an interview. So who here is on like their second meeting? Okay, who here wants to be interviewed today? Who here has done the quiz? Okay, so yeah, so whoever still had their hand up, you can just ask like, hey, I want to do my interview today, and then we'll do the interview after this. So yeah, we do the interview after the meeting. So yeah. Okay, so prospective interns, so you guys can come up here. So everyone who's a prospective intern, just come up, line up here and just write down your name in the chat. Say your name and your meeting. Why isn't this? Oh, there it is. Yeah. So just.
Hello, my name is Mal Chopra, and this is my second meeting. Yeah.
I'm Anna Aslam and I'm sector for economics and I would like to introduce it. Hi, I'm Pranita and this is my third movie.
Hi, my name is Shantaro Mase, and this is my second meeting.
Hi, my name's Lauren and this is my first meeting.
Hi, I'm Sakumi. This is my first meeting.
Hi, my name is Allison. This is my first meeting.
I'm Michi, third meeting. All right, I adjourned this meeting at 4:54 PM. Yay. Yeah.